Hello, friends. Hola, amigos. I know it's been a long time since I rapped at you. Remember that? What was his name? Anchower. Something Steve? Mike? Anchower? Anyway. Yeah, it has been a long time. I think I put my last video out like a month ago or something like that. So it has been a busy spring for me. For a number of reasons. Probably the primary one is that I lost both of my parents within the last month and a half. Both passed away. So that's a lot to deal with, obviously, on an emotional level, but also logistically and dealing with the estate and all that stuff. So that has taken up some energy and taken a little bit of the wind out of my YouTubing, which is, I like doing it, but it's not up here. It's down here somewhere. So it's really easy for it to get bumped down when other stuff comes up. Anyway, so that's one of the main reasons. And also, spring. So it's one thing to sit in your basement and yammer on and then edit, for a couple hours or whatever. When it's too cold to go outside and there's nothing really to do. But we live on 3.5 acres out here. And it's nice out. When it starts getting nice, there's both a lot of work to do and it's a lot of fun. And I'm going Mad Max Art Nouveau on my motorcycle. Like I'm actually making frame modifications and doing other stuff, which I've never done before. So that's what I spent last weekend. It's discretionary time doing. Fun stuff is important. YouTube is fun. But it's not motorcycle fun. I've also been selling some artwork. Some of you probably don't know that that's kind of my side hustle. So I do sculpture and flat art, and I've gotten more into that lately, and I've sold a few pieces. Let's see. The country is doing what the country is doing. I'm a political person. I am trying as hard as I can not to mix in politics too much with pseudoarchaeology, even though they are connected. And, if you've paid attention to the channel, you know what my feelings are on the connections and so on. It's another one of those things that makes YouTube seem maybe a little bit less important. I think the last video, I did a video on a little bit of motorcycle stuff. And I did L.A. Marzulli's, what was it on? Oh, let's see if he ever did that. We're gonna go through the line here and do some checking in. So he said he was gonna have Doge. He's gonna have his lawyer. Okay, so he said he was going to have his lawyer, Richard Town, prepare a petition to have Doge go rummage around in the Smithsonian Institution. So it looks like the petition is up. So let's look at it. Should probably do a video just all on this, but I'm not gonna. Well, maybe I will, but I'm not gonna right now. We, the undersigned, respectfully request that all government-funded museums and universities be required to provide full public disclosure of all artifacts and human remains in their possession, both past and present. Oh my word. Let me start the eye rolling. Have you heard of this thing called NAGPRA? That's the second paragraph. Native American human remains. By enacting NAGPRA, Congress recognized that human remains are of any ancestry must at all times be treated with dignity and respect. We believe the public has a right to a comprehensive catalog of all artifacts and human remains stored in archives or private collections. In museums, then they're not private collections. I'm already lost in this document. Open access to scientific studies, historical records, as well as excavation reports, ensuring that information is presented without censorship, bias, or selective omission. Independent review boards to ensure compliance with transparency requirements and prevent the suppression of historical discoveries while ensuring that information is presented without censorship. It's Fritz Zimmerman signed it too. This is not the petition that he said he was going to write. He was going to write the petition to Doge and have them go in and look for giant skeletons.
And we're going to create a petition. And we're going to put it up on our website and people will be able to sign the petition. And then as a legal document with all the signatures, I will present that. My lawyer will try to present it to Doge and to try to open up the gates of some of these museums. For instance, the Smithsonian. Do they have elongated skulls there? Do they have the bows of the giant?
But he's writing it to the Secretary of the Interior and basically saying that taxpayers need to know what's in museums. Okay, museums should have catalogs of their stuff. Theoretically, those should be available to people. I don't have a problem with that. They're going to be shocked to find that museums are not suppressing the information that they think they are suppressing. So maybe we'll look into this more later. In August, I will be presenting at BajaCon. That's the Blue Water Atheists Convention in Sarnia, Ontario, assuming it is still safe to leave the country and come back in again. So I've been thinking about how I'm going to organize that presentation and what it's going to be about. So that's in the back of my mind. Also, I will have to devote some time to that. I've got a list of topics. I jot down things that I would like to make videos of. And these are all things that, maybe I'll get to 1 in 5 of these. Some of them are Nephilim related, L.A. Marzulli related. I did that series of videos arguing about a lost civilization. And I talked about the motivations with, is that what I did? Ideology, money, curiosity. I think so. Is he curious? If I had to guess, I would say, yeah, he actually does have some legitimate curiosity. Anyway, somebody brought up narcissism. I said that I wasn't going to talk about so much about the mental illness part because it's kind of a layer, I think, that can go on top of any or all of those things. And the narcissism aspect of it, which is there, it's there, is, maybe fits into that. But I thought it would be fun at some point to rate the narcissists in pseudo-archaeology, so that's an idea. If somebody else wants to do that, go for it. I would love to do a video on why Clovis is so important to Graham Hancock, because I think that people are missing the point that he is trying to make with that stuff. And they're getting it wrong. They're misrepresenting what he is saying. So I have thoughts on that. Boy, L.A. Marzulli did really 1 or 2 really stupid videos on the quote unquote mound builders. I'll just keep my mouth shut unless I get to it. Never run out of stuff. How about, let's see, just in terms of catching up. I know I've gotten comments on things. All right, these are the comments to the L.A. Marzulli Doge video. Whole focus of professional archaeology needs to change so that it is all about finding ancient artifacts of incredible power and giving them to Donald Trump. Blah, 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 blah. It's wrong to say that Christians do not believe in evolution. I'm not so sure I said that. Most Christians do believe in Darwinism and evolution. There's definitely a branch of fundamentalist Christianity that does not believe in evolution. I think that's safe to say. Distraction from the second attempt on Area 51. Bound to be too stupid for Elon Musk. Yeah, well, who knows? Maybe he'll be looking for a job soon. He needs to get back to Tesla or else that company is going to continue to crash and burn. Not my problem. So I did a video pointing to another guy's video about Dan Richards and how wrong he was in his assertions about the funding of the Society for American Archaeology.
I am asking you, President Trump, to remove the Society for American Archaeology from its advisory role to the United States government and to reduce or remove their federal funding.
It's a ridiculous statement to have made. I still don't know whether Dan has addressed the fact that he was so very wrong, or if he's just, deciding to let that one ride and enjoying his glory as a YouTube sensation or whatever. But if he hasn't addressed it yet, he really should, because that was dumb. It was a dumb thing to say, and it's a dumb thing to be on the record saying that, because it's stupid. Certainly something else that Dan is arguing about a lost civilization. Yeah, Robert Sepehr. Here's one. This was supposed to be about me. This guy never specifies what was said or written that was so bad. The only evidence is the Sumerian eagle being displayed the only way it can be while superimposing a swastika over it. Seems like it's more in his head than Robert S.'s. Look at the dude. Look at his logo. That is basically, he should have to pay like a licensing fee to the Third Reich, because that is basically a Nazi eagle with the swastika removed. So it's not a secret. The white supremacists, they're not even overtones. They're more than overtones. They are the main tones. They are the harmonies and the melodies. I'm having Bubba Wallace saw Noose in the Garage vibes. Then he goes on to talk as if he's part of a more racially tolerant clique. I'd like to know if he's put out anything that could be criticized and taken out of context live. Do you think that Robert Sepehr is not a white supremacist? Why don't you ask him? Just ask him. The dude wears it on his sleeve. It's so funny. These people coming out, he is not asking to be defended. I don't think, I'm going to play the do your own research card. If you think he's not, go watch all of his videos, and I guess you're going to make up your own mind. But the Nazi eagle is there quite intentionally, I am sure. It's not that nobody is saying stuff like this. It's that no one is much interested in it. Come back when he has sold millions of books. I don't even know who that is addressed to. Thank you for the positive comments. Yeah, Blues Brothers. Right on. Hancock is more upset that people are rightfully calling out the white supremacy of his work than he is at the actual white supremacists who keep gravitating to his work. Yeah. All right, what else we got here? Nephilim Fist and the Gaza. Okay, now we're getting back into February. All right, close enough. So my ongoing project, if you haven't figured out, I like to get my hands dirty in a lot of different things. Some of them never get finished, and that's the way it goes. But returning to the dust up with Dan about his claim that Ignatius Donnelly never envisioned a white Atlantis. I said I was going to break that down into 3 pieces. I did one video on the history of Arianism. I got this print version of the Antediluvian World. I think it's 1949. Yeah, 1949. So it's annotated or whatever. Obviously, the original is available online for nothing. I'm going to go through, and I've started, but, it's one of those things, again, not super high on the priority list, but it'll hopefully get finished eventually by me. I'm going through and finding every mention of Arians and noting the page number, the context it was used in, and what it's referring to, because there's enough of them in there, well over 100, that we can do some kind of quantitative analysis and get at how he was using that word. So I've gone through the history of the concept of Arianism and how it comes from Arians, how it gets misused or abused, beginning in mid-1800s, and then obviously most famously in the rise of the Nazis. And it's in between there that Ignatius Donnelly is writing. So how's he using it? What does he mean by it? What are these Arians doing? You can attempt to not just guess what people were thinking, but you can do an analysis. So we'll see what comes of that. Hopefully something interesting. Anyway, I don't know when the next time I will be on with a real substantive pseudoarchaeology video, but I hope that you will hang with me and I will get there eventually. As I said, the dust is settling from working through, the implications of having 2 parents pass away and having to deal with that on several levels. And, a boy's mind does wander when the springtime comes and it's easier to get outside and do stuff out there. So that's what's been on my plate. I hope you guys are hanging in there, and I will see you soon. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.